Damn kid, always down. Why my chin always pointed to the ground? Hang my head when I'm walking around. I wipe tears from my face on my bathroom towel. Until a typhoon came through when I met you. Cloudy days, let the sun through. Now I smile at the sunroof, yeah. Maybe I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind, but nobody makes me come to life like you. Said everything that I do, just know I do it for you. Maybe I'm stupid, ignoring the signs, but you're on my brain like all the time. It's true that even when I dream, just know I'm dreaming of you. Yeah. So I'm fighting for the honor, guts, glam, glory. Without you in my life, I'm feeling more less than Dory. You're everything I ever needed, way more than a shorty. When we're together, all the boring things aren't as boring. So you're the first thing on my mind when I wake up in the morning, and you're the only one I'm checking if you're seeing my stories. You're the reason why I work out. Gotta get what you deserve now. Best biceps and quads, the best sense in jobs, a new house, garage, a poolside massage, some new shoes, barrage, with anything that you wanted. You don't gotta work, just sip on a gin and tonic. And if you need a break, we'll take a trip to the tropics. God damn, you can't say I didn't try. Maybe I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind, but nobody makes me come to life like you. Said everything that I do, just know I do it for you. Maybe I'm stupid, ignoring the signs, but you're on my brain like all the time. It's true that even when I dream, just know I'm dreaming of you. Maybe I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind, but nobody makes me come to life like you. Said everything that I do, just know I do it for you. Yeah, just know I do it for you. Just know I do it for you. And I'm being serious. Snapchats, Instagram stories, even the freaking music, I really be doing this shit to impress you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am going to be all by my lonesome tonight. In fact, I believe I'm all by my lonesome for basically this whole week. So we're going to have a lot to talk about during the week, obviously. Tuesday. No, not Tuesday. Yeah, no, Tuesday is election day. I'm a little off on my days, but we have obviously a very big week coming up, very big things to follow. I do not expect the race to be called Tuesday night. I would be pleasantly surprised if it is. Hopefully, pleasantly surprised. I think if it's called, it's because it's an actual Trump landslide. If not, maybe it's a Kamala landslide, and that would be worst case scenario, to be quite honest. Because then there's kind of just a genuine pick there. Like then they feel like they really have power if there's a landslide for Kamala. But we won't bring that up. We won't talk about that too much. No doom pilling. When Trump wins Tuesday night, we're going to be celebrating. But let me start with this preamble before Alex tries to kill me for not doing it this week. First off, Epstein client list. Everyone wants it. Everyone needs to see it. Everyone needs to know who we have to throw somewhere. I'm not going to finish that sentence, but throw somewhere, because these people should be held accountable for what they've done to the people that were involved, that were chosen by Epstein to be either on that island or taken on a plane. So next we have Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. If you can give anything to the people that were affected by those two hurricanes, because they are still in trouble. They're out of the news cycle, but they're still in trouble. They're going to be in trouble for a long time. And there are still ways to give to them if you have anything to give. I know not a lot do because of the way the country is run right now. But if you have the ability to give anything, please give if you can. And finally, I'll just end it on Moms for Liberty. If you are voting for Trump and you have like $1 to give, try to give it to Moms for Liberty. They do good work all over the country, fighting in our schools to make sure our children aren't brainwashed and indoctrinated into cult-like atmosphere. So, going from that, we are going to hit on politics first today. And in fact, it's not going to be the leading story because I want to give a little preamble before that. But everyone knows the Iowa poll that came out yesterday. It was leaked in Democrat circles as this huge Iowa poll shows Harris leapfrogging Trump to +3 in Iowa. And it was by Ann Selzer, who's apparently really, really renowned in Iowa. What is up, Nate? AOL Dave here, obviously. But she is renowned in Iowa. Missed a hell of a night. Where at? On this show or at Rob Norris? Yeah, I wasn't able to. I was driving all night. I got in late as hell. And honestly, I was very tired. I'm not going to lie to you. I would not have been useful on the show. But I heard Alex had a great time. So I wish I could have been on. I saw a little bit of it, and it seemed like a lot of fun. But at one point, I'll be able to talk to Rob again. But going on yet again, Ann Selzer, renowned in Iowa. She drops this poll, +3. Harris in Iowa. Things are looking up for Harris. She's getting this momentum. She's getting these trends. Well, this video comes out right here. Tom Elliott tweets this out. This has been tweeted by multiple people, but political genius Ann Selzer appears confused over what the R and D letters referred to in polling crosstabs. Now, I don't know when she did this video, but someone who's been fucking all over our show and all over Ryan has been viral a lot lately. Both Alex on right after Jake Rod. Oh shit. That's awesome. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna have to get together with Rob and stuff like that and try to do one of those streams at one point. We were invited, and I thank Rob for that a lot because that's awesome. But yeah, either way, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I don't know when she did this video, but like I said, Ryan has been going viral lately. He went through her Iowa poll and he went through her crosstabs, and here's a tweet saying it's straight crazy, and he's comparing her with the 2020 exits through all of the crosstabs here. And I'm just going to let this video play and speak for itself.
Right. Okay. So Noah, are you able to put up that tweet? Maybe it's up and I can't see it because
It's
I'm
up.
on my. It's up. All right, Ann, are you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay. Could you just go through and say what you think about those criticisms?
Well, I'm trying. This is in a format that's a little difficult for me to see. What does this D represent and the R represent?
D. So they're saying that, and again, he says read through the Seltzer crosstabs.
Yeah.
So they're saying that they know that this poll shows, and again, it's they say your sample is got it's more 3% more Democrats than Republican, whereas the electorate last time was 8% more
see.
Republican. It says that you have Indies voting Democrat +4, whereas last time they voted for +7, +4. So they're saying if you compare what you have with what happened in 20, according to the exit polls, it's way too big a change across all these groups in a uniform way towards pro-Harris.
Now, if we're being as good faith as possible to her, she's boomering it up. She doesn't necessarily understand what Ryan has put here. I'm not a poll guy. I don't look at these. This might be normal, and she should be able to understand it immediately. But let's just say she's boomering it up. She understands it, but she doesn't understand it in this context. If we're being as nice as possible to her, and she gives a little bit of an answer on the last part of this video as to what she thinks after he's done explaining to her.
As opposed to Trump.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time I'm seeing this, and so it's sort of against my nature to think I understand everything that this is saying, and I haven't cross-checked these numbers to know how that actually pans out. But I'm going to say that it is clear that senior women are an advantage to Kamala Harris in our poll. Kamala Harris wins by more than 2-1, actually, maybe even more than that among senior women. It's a big, big spread. So I don't know. I mean, the truth of it
This makes her look really bad. This makes her look really, really bad. Now, like I said, she could just be very confused, but all she did in defense there is just state what he's saying here about her poll. And the very obvious, yeah, senior women look great in her poll for Kamala Harris. Sure. She doesn't say anything about why or anything about how they got. I don't know. She does not look good in this video. And there's probably a better way to steel man her position and make her seem not that terrible. But this is not a good look for her. It's not a good look for the one poll that's a complete outlier in Iowa, even though she's renowned in Iowa. She's a good pollster in Iowa. Doesn't look good when you're the outlier in Iowa. And then you seem to be a little lost when Ryan just kind of tweets out how your crosstabs are pretty crazy. So right now, I know a lot of Democrats are jumping on that. They're jumping on a couple things to try to act like Harris is trending up. She might be in some aspect, leveling out coming on election day. It's kind of tough to tell what's going to happen right now, at least to me. Some people are predicting Trump landslide. I want to say I feel it, but there's always a part of me that's anxious about that type of stuff, and you never know what's going to happen on election day. And I do want to say something real quick, because no matter what happens on election days, people are going to be coping. And one of the issues with going against a lot of the copes are going to be, left or right, is our election system has been absolutely destroyed to the point that you could just say anything is cheating and you actually have some plausibility there, because they've made it so open to fraud and to cheating that there's no reason for anyone to deny you your thought of the other side cheating. At this point, it's not the person claiming the cheating needs to show evidence. The institution needs to show evidence that it can actually be secure. Because if you don't have that and no one trusts in the institution, then they have no reason to care about whether or not they can show enough. It's the fact that you haven't shown any credibility in the fact that you can make our election secure. You haven't shown any credibility in the fact that you don't care about voter ID. You have things like fucking ballot boxes where you just place your ballots in a goddamn box outside. Ones that just set on fire in Washington, which, re-upping that story because I covered it, apparently they had free Gaza on a fucking note on those ballot boxes. And we couldn't understand what the motivation was for setting those on fire. So those are just two ways. Ballots being counted days after they're coming in, because that's apparently a thing. Many ways our elections are just open to fraud, open to absolute chicanery, where it's on the institution to provide credibility and not on the person, whether or not you think they're fucking crazy, claiming that there is fraud in their election. Grandma's be dumb. Yeah, she's not looking good there, Nate. I personally think Kamala is going to win. I hope not, Nate. I really hope not, man. I can see why you think that, and I can see why people would think that, but I don't. There's a feeling in the air, and maybe it's too good of a feeling. Maybe it's too good of a high. I think my brother actually said this on Rob's show last night. It's just too good of a high on Trump right now, where things will come crashing down. Obviously, we'll see. Did you catch those Georgia election hearings where people were wearing the Dominion pet? I did not see that. No fucking way. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. But one thing that I don't think either of us covered, which I should have pulled up, but everything that's going on in Colorado with that chick that's the head of elections in Colorado, the one that tried to throw Trump off of the ballot, the one that leaked the password and then waited to say the password was leaked in order for that to be stopped. There's just so much going on around elections in this country that's baffling, that people accept anyone telling them that it's free and fair. It's unfortunate that I have to say this. I want to say that the country has a good election system and, you know, you can just accept it and move on. But you can't tell someone to do that when it's very obvious that things are so open to be just destroyed. So you're just going to keep running into the same type of just arguments from people over and over again unless you actually shore up elections, which the Democrats obviously don't want to do. Trump's saying he wants to do it, and I voted for the guy for more than that reason, but he's saying he wants to do it. He's saying he at least wants voter ID, something very easy and obvious. So unless you actually shore these things up, you have no reason to deny a person on whether or not they say the election was stolen on either side, to be quite honest with you. I mean, you can make fun of them, and I'm expecting that. Whether or not Kamala wins or Trump wins, if Kamala wins and I'm fucking coping, make fun of me, man. It's going to happen. Same thing with Kamala supporters. If Trump wins, they're going to be coping. They're going to be seething. Make fun of them. It's fine. It's going to happen. I would rather just be doing that than whatever the fuck's going to happen after this election, because I still think there's bad times ahead, no matter who wins. Now, moving on from that, before going on to a heavier topic, which is actually the title of this, I did want to just pull this up real quick. Jesse Kelly actually made a pretty good funny on Twitter, and I just want to highlight this. So at a Harris campaign rally in Georgia, Doug Emhoff, Kamala's husband, said this right quick.
Kamala did what Kamala always does. She just put her head down and she went to work.
And truer words have never been spoken. Honestly, the man went out there and actually just spouted the truth immediately. Incredibly done by Doug Emhoff right here. But Jesse Kelly, not to be outdone by him, even his compliments are backhanded. A story that people haven't caught on to in the corporate media about Doug Emhoff and his nanny that he also loved putting his hands on. But I just wanted to share that. I thought that was fun. If it's a blue sweep, I'm hitting the panic. I can't see it being a blue sweep, Nate. Maybe that's just me and my biases. I cannot see it being a blue sweep, mainly because even with Kamala winning, I think because I believe that there's a reason for wanting to sow division and chaos. If there's a blue sweep, it's a little bit more difficult to get people to get really angry about it. At least on the right. On the right, you're going to see a lot more people being black-pilled if there's a blue sweep. It's going to be a lot of doomerism. I really don't think there's going to be a lot of fire if it's a Kamala landslide. If it's a Trump landslide, that base is activated. They're activated to be angry if it's a Trump landslide. I don't think the Trump base, that base, is landslided to be angry if there's a blue sweep. If it's looks weird at night, if there's that, I should pull up that graph. If there's a really weird curve at night, then there's anger. But if it's a sweep, I think it's just black pills, to be quite honest with you. So I sent a hilarious Kamala ad parody to Alex Quest to show X. Did you happen to see it? Oh, I did not. I don't know if I am able to get into that right now. Let me text him, because he's on vacation. You know, he lives in the lap of luxury. Can you send me? I can't spell my last name. Hopefully he'll answer that and he'll send that to me and I'll be able to play that. Because to be quite honest with you, Nate, the ads that are coming out in favor of Kamala, they're like the porn ad and the abortion one, they're parodies in and of themselves. They're already funny in and of themselves. The fact that they would make those. And you know what? It probably does work on their base, but when it hits Twitter, it's just, dunked on. If you're interested, is YouTube Brad Brinkley Kamala parody. I will do that actually right after this story, because I want to hit on this. This is the one that I put up on the title. This one's actually decently big, even though nothing's going to happen about it because it's a House Judiciary GOP. They're not going to. We already know that they'll announce things and nothing will actually happen to the activity that's going on. But they put out a tweet inside Kamala Harris's open borders alliance with United Nations bureaucrats. U.S. taxpayer dollars were spent on foreign national salaries so they could advise other foreign nationals on the easiest way to migrate to the United States. At least $81.7 million in U.S. taxpayer funding spent by the Open Borders United Nations to allow illegal aliens to bypass the southwest border and fly directly into the United States. Migration centers set up throughout Central and South America, staffed by UN bureaucrats. Nearly 70,000 aliens referred for potential resettlement in the United States. And they put out their whole report. It's probably boring, so I didn't read through the whole thing. I did see that Warhammer ad. What the fuck? Yeah. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, Nate. So I do want to read a little bit from the actual executive summary here. This part isn't huge, but this second paragraph right here matters. Under President Biden and Vice President Harris, in June 2023, the State Department announced its Safe Mobility Initiative, which allows aliens to sidestep the southwest border and, according to United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, avoid the risks associated with onward movement. In other words, this new Biden-Harris program fast-tracks aliens into the United States out of sight of the American people and without the politically damaging optics at the border. The initiative's safe mobility offices allow aliens outside the United States to consult with foreign national employees from UNHCR and the International Organization for Migration, who then provide the aliens with several options to resettle in the United States, including through family reunification, parole, labor pathways, and additional expansions of the Biden-Harris administration's illegal abuses of humanitarian parole. The U.S. taxpayer-funded SMOs are located in 13 cities across Guatemala, Costa Rica, Colombia, and Ecuador. This is insanity. It's consistently been insanity, and it's consistently been the way you would actually try to destroy a country if you wanted to destroy a country. Or maybe even try to bring in a new demographic to vote for you. I don't know. That's just a theory. It's a kooky theory. It's one that is always actually talked about, but whenever it's talked about by the wrong person, it becomes something crazy and kooky. But this is actually a decently big story, especially because they have some evidence of what's going on. But like I said, it's the House Judiciary GOP. We all know that they don't do much. They're not going to do much. What they're going to do is make their report, complain about it, tell people about it, and then nothing's going to happen. This is exactly why Trump is a Republican nominee. This is exactly why you have the ticket the way that it is. You have the people forming this union with Trump, because we know that those in the GOP that have been put into power that right now do not do shit for the American people. So we want someone who's actually going to do something. So while this report is huge, is pretty damning in a normal state, nothing will happen right now, unfortunately. Hopefully, Trump gets in and we can actually get to work on some of this shit, because not just the United States are already bad. The West has had enough of this remigration of these refugees, quote unquote, because they're not refugees, most of them. But we've had enough of this. And this needs to end. There's no reason. We need to stop having our countries being brought down so that all countries could be equal under, Klaus Schwab and all of them and how they want to organize things. So we'll move on from that. We'll move on from politics heavy. We have the election soon. I will do some kind of election stream. I don't know what time. It'll probably be earlier. I will say that, because there's just going to be a ton of election streams running. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to just running an election stream. So I'm just going to run it. We'll talk a little bit. about politics that day, about the two candidates and what's going on, and then we'll move on from that. No, then I'll be able to move on from that. And I'll send you wherever else. But we'll move on to some fun stuff. Something that's actually a white pill for me. Toho has greenlit a new Godzilla film from the Godzilla Minus One director, Takashi Yamazaki. I loved Godzilla Minus One. I went and saw it multiple times. I even saw Godzilla Minus One in black and white, and that was awesome. So this announcement is very small from them, but it's big in the way that, you know, we want to see this director back. He's most likely going to have an even bigger budget this time. And Godzilla looked fantastic on the small budget he had already. So I can only imagine what we're going to get from this movie this time. But right here is the official announcement from Godzilla Official. I don't know why the volume's off.
臨時ニュースを申し上げます。
That's it. That's literally all it is. But it's gotten me hyped. It's gotten me very hyped. Because they had an ending there that had a continuation. So we knew there could be a sequel. And with the way the movie did in the box office, you knew damn well it most likely was going to get a sequel. So I'm just excited to see it being a thing. I can't wait. To be fair, reading it right now, so I'll bring up the article. Even though that Park Place, I'm pretty sure this will be a sequel, but no details are shared whether this movie, for what Yamazaki has planned for this movie, it will be a sequel to Godzilla Minus One. I see no reason why it wouldn't be. I won't spoil it, even though it's been out for a little bit. Go watch it if you haven't. Genuinely go watch it. It's probably one of the best movies last year, if not the best movie, depending on what you're a fan of. I love kaijus. I love Godzilla. So I can't wait for this. I'm hoping it's going to be bigger and even better than Minus One. Though I see how that might be difficult because the writing in Minus One was great. But this is huge news. And you know what? Maybe it'll actually help for the box office whenever that comes out, as things dwindle in the movie space. Also, I forgot to look up that YouTube video, Nate, because I do want to see it. So I'm going to look that up right now. Brad Brinkley. Speaking of a parody of Kamala, though, she had decided to go on SNL, which is ridiculous. Weirdly enough, the YouTube video that is not coming up right now. At least not that I see. Fox News, Sky News. Nothing coming up from Brad Brinkley, Nate. And my brother hasn't texted me back, so I will not be able to find this right now. If anything, I'll play it tomorrow. But we will move on from Godzilla to something that basically everyone has been talking about in the gaming space right now. And I'm going to just title this The Fall of BioWare. So right now, Dragon Age of Veilguard, let me refresh this. 55,000 players right now, 89K all-time peak. 89K all-time peak in total. It hasn't beaten that yet. And overall, that's not terrible for a game. It's not awful for a game, but it's not good for BioWare. Monster Hunter Wilds is actually kicking its ass right now. And you expect something like a new Dragon Age game to have many more players playing it. But this thing is littered with issues. And we all know why those issues came about. It's because they decided to rely on the message and not actually make a good game. So moving on from the database, I actually wanted to read this review Project Eggroll put this up on Twitter, best Steam review of Dragon Age. He says, unfortunately, I don't have the name of the person reviewing it. I wish I could give them credence here, but they do not recommend this. 10 years waiting for Dragon Age Dreadwolf, which was the name of the next Dragon Age game before Veilguard was named, before it was changed to Veilguard. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. Okay, first of all, let me make sure I understand. My Inquisitor disappeared after meeting Solus at the end of Trespasser, and then he was replaced by some rook guy Varric meets in a pub without elaborating. Then almost everyone from Inquisition, DA2, and Origins mysteriously disappeared, while few remaining characters have amnesia of past events. Everyone looks like cartoon characters, and dialogue is so simple like it was written by a 4-year-old child. I don't even know what to say about motionless voice acting, robotic facial and body animations, Andromeda, we meet again, no open world, no party control, repetitive, boring combat. Something just isn't right here. What the hell happened to Dragon Age storytelling or BioWare storytelling in general? Oh, wait a minute. All veterans left the company. 10 years of building up Solus as a main antagonist, only to be replaced by two cliche bad guys. Then we got introduced to a Qunari companion. Oh, and a Qunari race? I don't even know how they went from Arashok to this lame and weak as fuck. The very opposite of what Qunari race is and stands for. They really did them dirty here. Anyway, this companion apparently is an existential crisis, and she says things like, I hate being a woman, I identify as non-binary now, and I'm going to use they instead of she from now on. Then there is also a scene where another character misgenders them and preaching how to apologize by doing some push-ups. Oh my God. I feel as if I entered some atrociously bad fan fiction or ended in a wrong timeline where Dragon Age is not dark fantasy and it was made by Disney. It all makes sense when you look up lead director of this game who describes himself as queerosexual gendermancer. That's all you need to know to understand why there is a lack of talent. On subject about LGBT, Dragon Age always had gay and trans characters, but instead of bringing back old characters that had actual development and story, characters that Dragon fans actually loved, they decided to make replacements that can't even hold a candle. And a main objective in this game is romance? Let me find it. I'm saying this as a female. These new characters are ugly, unattractive, and they don't even have a personality because apparently writers identify as non-existent. By the way, did I already mention that writing is bad? This is just a deal breaker for me, especially in a choice-based game. If I didn't paint clear enough picture, lead director is the real main character who made the game be all about himself, and to do it, butchered the entire Dragon Age lore in the process. Saying you have divided the Dragon Age community would be an understatement in and of itself. Duncan didn't die for this. I'm so glad that this will be the last Dragon Age game, since after this BioWare won't be able to ruin Mass Effect 4 as well. I'll just pretend this game never existed and refund. Now I'm going back to playing old games before I die of this cringe. With regards, a Dragon Age fan of the old BioWare. I think that says all that needs to be said about this game. Like I've said multiple times on the show, I never played Dragon Age, but I can understand everything this person's saying from this review. And it's very obvious watching the videos coming out of this game that everything that's said in this review is true and awful to see. Especially from a company like BioWare. But like said in that review, all the veterans left. So what are you going to do? It's time for the company to probably go bye-bye, especially after this, because they won't make the games the way they need to be made in order to satisfy fans, in order to give them a genuine outlet, in order to have genuine creativity in their storytelling and have actual fun sitting down and playing a game. So unfortunately, BioWare is just another development team, another company that's going to have to go on the wayside. Yeah, same. Never played it, but we've all had our nerd passions trampled on. Exactly, Nate. And it's I've said it before. This is just a consistent thing that's been happening all over the place. And it gets sad every time it happens, you know. And it seems like with every IP that it gets done to, there's even more fans that are becoming affected now. Ones that maybe haven't paid attention to the culture war before this. Maybe they didn't want to get involved. Maybe they didn't want to listen because it's just too much. It's too annoying. You know, it's something that you don't want to deal with. But then it gets brought to your doorstep. It gets brought to something you love, something you may have a tattoo of. And then all of a sudden you're now activated against the people that made the game and that made the thing that crushed something that you nerded out on. That's all I have for Dragon Age Veilguard there. There's not much more to say about the game. It might peak above 100K at one point. I don't know. 89K right now is the highest it's been. We'll see. Is it good for a game? Sure. Is it bad for a BioWare game? Yes. It should be more for a BioWare game. There's just no coping about that. Finally, I wanted to end this off on a little bit of a white pill here. It could be a white pill. It's better than what expectations were. About 5 times I was close to a Green Lantern tattoo. Thank God I didn't. It probably would have looked sweet too, Nate. It probably would have looked sweet, but you just can't do that shit anymore, man. It's unfortunate that you can't actually just have fun with the things that you love. But Marvel's Wolverine creative director no longer on project due to creative decisions around the game. So Brian Horton, former creative director for Insomniac Games' Marvel Wolverine, is no longer part of it, and he's actually going to become a creative director for Perfect Dark, which I forgot there was another Perfect Dark coming out. It's coming back to me now. The pictures of the protagonist of the new Perfect Dark coming out, and I believe she looks nothing like she used to again. You know, the normal thing that we see nowadays. So this is, at least for me, better news about Wolverine than what we've seen so far. And like they saying it's creative decisions, it's most likely they're kind of seeing trends and they're trying to hope to build Wolverine back up, especially after what kind of happened with Spider-Man 2. But to go on reading here, interestingly enough, the timing of these decisions also appears to match up when Sweet Baby Inc. defender Mary Kenny, who is an associate narrative director working on Marvel's Wolverine, announced she left the project and joined CD Projekt Red. Kenny posted on LinkedIn back in early July, "Without further ado, it's time to announce my new job. Today was my first day as a senior writer at CD Projekt Red. Awesome. Cool. Let's hear more from the head of CG Projekt Red about how there's no DEI or anything in their company. They don't do any of that stuff. Sure." She added, "I can't wait to talk more about my project. I'm thrilled to be getting back into RPGs, and my team is talented, welcoming, and just flat out cool. Here's to new adventure." And it's nice that she's all for Wolverine, but you already know it's just going to ruin another franchise or ruin another game. And before this announcement, she had made it clear in an interview with Dual Shockers, her main goal in the video game industry was to inject LGBTQ plus themes. Commenting on a GLAAD report bemoaning the lack of alphabet characters in video games, Kenny said, "The GLAAD report tells us something key. Games are a way for alphabet people to socialize, but it also tells us something heartbreaking, that alphabet gamers don't feel that developers are thinking of them when they design games." The narcissism of the people that are inside of the gaming industry right now that are able to make our games, able to have genuine impact on the games that we play, and this extends everywhere, but right now in gaming, just the absolute narcissism of these people. The fact that they have no creativity, and this is something that I've weirdly become passionate about. I don't know exactly why, but I just don't understand why these people call themselves creative when they cannot think outside of themselves. If you cannot think outside of yourself, then you have no bone in your body to be able to be creative and connect with another person, genuinely connect with another person, and actually be able to move them in a certain way. So, furthermore, these changes come as Insomniac Games revealed that it would not be creating any additional story content for Marvel's Spider-Man 2, in the wake of the game's sales being over 50% worse than Marvel's Spider-Man. And it's funny enough, this probably has a whole bunch of different things to do with it, because I loved the first Spider-Man game. I thought it was awesome. I played the hell out of it. I 100%ed it. I got everything done in that game you could. And I never got Spider-Man 2. I didn't even get the Miles Morales part of it. And I think it's because, for me, it wasn't even like anything surrounding some of the controversy in the game. There's just nothing about it that seemed improved, new. There seemed to be a reason to actually get it. I could just play the first one again. So that's the reason why I never got Spider-Man 2. And I actually feel like there's a bunch of people that probably felt similar to the way I felt on that one. You didn't need to know any of the controversy surrounding Spider-Man 2. All you needed to feel was whether or not the game was worth it. You could already swing all day in the first one. You didn't even need to do shit. The swinging felt great. You could just go around and have fun. You didn't need to take any missions. You could enjoy your time. So why would I need the second game? Why would I care about that? So, as noted above, the announcement comes in the wake of Sony revealing that Marvel Spider-Man 2 sold less than half of what the first one did. And hold on. It also revealed the game only sold over 11 million. While 11 million units might seem like a great success, one can only view it as a massive failure given Sony's sales data that was leaked to Reset Era at the end of 2023 revealed the 2018 game Marvel Spider-Man sold 22.685 million units and net sales totaled 827 million. Even the 2020 Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales game sold 11.125 million and had net sales totaling 427 million. Excuse me. On top of all this, Sweet Baby Inc. revealed it was working on Marvel's Wolverine back in 2021. And yes, that's part of the issue of Wolverine. And that's why it's some good news to see some movement in that game from the people that are already in charge of it. Yeah, and moving on to Perfect Dark. But overall, it's some good news about Wolverine. It's not exactly the big hope you could want for it, especially coming out of Insomniac. I almost feel like it's going to be a reskin Spider-Man, no matter what, which is unfortunate because you could have a really fun Wolverine game. It could be extremely good. It could be much more intense than Spider-Man is. But unfortunately, when you come around some of these developers and whenever they're not entirely certain, they fall back on things. The same first one was so good and also didn't even bother with Peter Darker. There was just no reason to play as him. No, I've seen some gameplay. I forgot he had some sort of lightning powers. I never fucking followed Peter Darker, man. I never followed Miles. I never cared enough. And it's just weird to me to give him those types of powers. If I remember correctly, I remember seeing a video of him resuscitating Peter from death. I only remember this because it was part of a meme where a guy was singing about the touch of a black man bringing him back to life, which was hilarious. Wolverine was a beast on Ultimate Alliance. Yes. Wolverine should be a beast everywhere. That's the whole thing. Because Ultimate Alliance got a lot of things right. Ultimate Alliance was a great game. And it got so much right. Wolverine being one of the things. But that's really all I have for tonight. Short night. That's also the reason why I was so late coming on, because honestly, I was looking for things to talk about that I felt like were at least somewhat interesting. I'm going to give one more look for this Brad Brinkley Kamala parody because I do want to see it. Like I said, my brother has decided not to answer me. So unfortunately, he's not at any help. Not like he normally is anyway. Yeah, all I'm getting is SNL. I'm actually not surprised about this. The algorithm searching for her is probably only going to be good things about her until after the election. So, but with that, that ends the show. Like I said, a short one. Thank you, Nate, for jumping in and chatting. Like I said, hopefully I'm able to do some fun stuff with Rob soon. Hopefully I'm able to do some longer stuff. Election night's going to be different. LinkedIn and chat. Ooh, now I'm actually going to be able to go see it. Hold up. I do not see it right now. Hold up. I cannot pull that up for some reason. Do it one more time if you can. Because YouTube might have not allowed it for some reason. All I see is your last message saying linked it in the chat. Let me see if I can get into... My brother does not have good passwords for his Twitter, so... Well, for his stuff, I should say. Doesn't look like it, unfortunately. Yeah, if you could try one more time to link it. Like I said, YouTube might have just not allowed it. Weird, I sent it twice in URL form. I see nothing for some reason. And because I'm on Restream, I'm not entirely sure how to enable links in chat. I'll have to look at that. I will. So try Brad Brinkley, probably first video. Yeah, I'll try it. Table for two. It doesn't look like it. Unless she's not in the thumbnail for some reason. All I'm getting is his music. Table for two. Him live in Orange, Texas. American Sniper by him. Small channel. Ooh. Yeah, it's a topic. Let me go over to channel. That's probably why. I ain't got nothing right now. You know, you go around looking at channels on YouTube and you find some interesting stuff. Especially the smaller ones. Man enough for Harris. That might be enough. That might be it. Let me look up. Here it is. Perfect. No views? Hold up. 23 views 4 hours ago. Man enough for Harris ad parody. I believe this is it. Is his name Johnny Blastoff next to Brad Brinkley? Because if not, then I somehow pulled up. Oh, there you are. I actually saw you in the comments, I think. Here it is.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Hard candy. Oh.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
And dicks for lunch.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
But f***ing.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women. They want to use IVF to start a family?
I'm not afraid to whack off.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Oh.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good Will Hunting.
When I
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
women who peg ass.
I say go for it.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Harris Walls, 2024.
It's crazy how well he fits in there. It really is. It's great. Like if he actually filmed on location at one point and tried to seamlessly put it in the ad, it would have worked just as he would have actually looked like he was in the ad. He could have just released it as like, oh, this is the unedited one. They put out their edited one to make it all family friendly. But no, that was a good call, Nate. That's a very good ad. It's a very good bit, I should say. He reminds me of, I can't remember the guy's name. He does a bunch of bits. Not Ryan Long. I think it starts with a J. JP. I don't know. I can't remember his name right now, but he does bits similar to that. I remember him doing one on transgenders in sports, and that one was pretty good. Either way, yeah, send us more stuff. Anything you find that's good, Nate, I'm more than happy to watch because that was really good, really funny. But with that, he does some funny man in the streets. He went around Dragon Con with that ball gag, and he was the most normal one there, Nate. He was the most normal one there, most likely. That's the issue. He went as close to them as possible. He flew close to the sun, but not like up high enough so that his wings. He was fine. Just had the ball gag. He was all good. It was normal for them, most likely. But with that, we will end it. That's another good way to end it. Another good white pill. Good bits. Good comedy going on. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for listening to me ramble about everything. I know you have a ton of people you could listen to ramble. Didn't even blink about it. I knew it. Nate. I told you he's the most normal one there with a ball gag. Most normal one there. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Like I said, I know you have a million people you can listen to ramble, so I appreciate you listening if you listened at all. All right. Everyone, don't forget to like and subscribe. Give 5 stars wherever the fuck we are if you can give 5 stars. Tell people about the show. Get them to listen. Whether or not it's just for one topic or whatever, maybe they'll sit for a little bit. But thank you yet again.